Come, let us explore the 23rd passage of the Great Garuda in Flight, a Dzogchen classic. Oh, I forgot some. One moment. So, let's see. I'm going to tap button 4, see if that doesn't help. Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. Garuda and Flight. All right, so let's place this over here. This functions as my side monitor. All right, this brings us to our opening lesson, the 23rd verse of the Great Garuda in Flight, composed many centuries ago by Prahe Vajra of Udanaya, known today as the Swat Valley of Pakistan. Together let us relaxingly recite. Suddenly, the essence of enlightenment manifests as the supreme contemplation. Its appearance is similar to that of a great ocean, as its non-conceptual state is as wide as infinite space. Let's see if we can make sense of this. Now, for this to make sense, we're going to need a bit of context, so I'm going to review the groundwork. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, but no, not in the fun, tingly way. Sturgeon's law could remind us that while 10% of meditation teachers sincerely feel that being flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind is where it's at, the majority disagree. The majority think it's far better to be rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. And for some reason, like attracts like, the majority of humans who fit that worldview are drawn to the majority of teachers who practice that worldview. It should come as a little surprise, therefore, that the majority of teachers will implore their students to over-focus and over-analyze, thus exhausting their prefrontal cortex to the point that they begin presenting with symptoms of depression and triggering their amygdala, the seat of both anxiety and aggression. Let's face it, no one wants anxiety and aggression. We'd rather have the opposite. We'd rather have love and peace. So how do we go about doing that? Simple. The key to mindfulness, also known as sati, is as follows. Every time we feel air enter our nostrils, the sympathetic aspect of our parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. And because we are wired to do so passively and randomly, instead of picking and choosing what to notice, spontaneously we notice all manner of phenomena, from the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental. From the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. What do we do with that which we noticed? Well, we meditate or practice samadhi. And here's how that works. Every time we feel air exit our nostril, the parasympathetic aspect of our autonomic nervous system, divided between the lower third and the upper third of that same spinal cord, helps us to relax, physically relax and mentally release to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, and less defining, literally, and figuratively feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void, like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the hand. Now let's bring this into context. How do we passively, so we have a choice. We can actively we can actively compete against the sympathetic and parasympathetic facets of our autonomic nervous system, thus increasing our anxiety and aggression. Or we can passively cooperate with our autonomic nervous system to calm our amygdala and gently stimulate the anterior cingulate gyrus that functions as the hub of our mirror neurons, the seat of empathy that transforms dread into compassion and desire into love. It's simple. Every time we feel air enter our nostrils, silently and mentally we could recite the demonstrative pronoun this. Each time we feel air exit our nostrils, silently and mentally we could recite the one-syllable verb ease. We can do that. Doing so, practicing mindfulness and meditation, is just that simple. We could do this while lying down, while walking briskly around the block, or while sitting as sustainably as we have figured out how. And now that we've laid the foundation, let us return to this morning's practice text. Suddenly, the essence of enlightenment manifests as the supreme meditation, which begs the question, what is enlightenment? There are many rigid and elitist people who will insist that enlightenment means we never have another thought, we never have another emotion other than peace and bliss. But that is not what the Buddha taught. What if enlightenment was a simple matter of merely getting so good at the Buddha's Eightfold Path that we practice it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively? What if the seventh and eighth folds were simply the mindfulness and meditation that we just discussed? And what if the fringe benefit of regularly playing with mindfulness and meditation, perhaps for as little as 5 minutes, perhaps as often as once every 12 hours? Because the remaining 6 folds to take care of themselves. As we notice and relax, we cannot help but observe viscerally that things change. What we notice shifts from moment to moment. And the facets, our experience of the circumstantial and physical and interpersonal and mental is also quite flighty. That is not an indictment, it's just the way things are. You see, as we gaze about, we cannot help but notice that with the coming and going of the seasons, we see the impermanence of a year. With the waxing and waning of the moon, we see the impermanence of a month. With the rising and the setting of the sun, we see the impermanence of a day. Rest your fingertips upon your ribs. With the swelling and the sinking of our chest, we feel the impermanence of a breath. Ever-changing, one and all, there is nothing permanent to grasp. And that makes letting go easier. Letting go of our pleasures, letting go of our pains, letting go of the external, letting go of the internal, letting go of the physical, letting go of the mental, letting go of that which is interesting, letting go of that which is boring, letting go of that which is glorious, and letting go of that which is grotesque. The late Tulku Thondop insisted that the highest love was the spontaneous and uncontrived side effect of simply cooperating with our body's tendency to notice and release. And thus the second, third, fourth, and fifth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path are simply kindness of intention, kindness of communication, kindness of conduct, and kindness of commerce. The great Karma Chakme Rinpoche insisted that the essence of morality was simply non-violence. That leaves us with the sixth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Those who are rigid and elitist would tell you that means perfectly keeping, working hard like you are the protagonist in a Tolkien fever dream. But actually, the opposite is true. The sixth fold of the Eightfold Path is the effortless effort wherein our choices, utterances, and deeds flow from love's centered spontaneity. No, not contrivance, not scatteredness, but centered spontaneity. And that's why the author said that not only is our mindfulness and meditation the path to enlightenment, the path of enlightenment. The more we find a pleasurable way to practice mindfulness and meditation at least once every 12 hours or so, the more we will drink deep of enlightenment itself, of lovingly going with the flow. of effortlessly noticing and releasing. Now, and this is going to be in the bet, there's a proviso. Its appearance is similar to that of a great ocean. It is, as its non-conceptual state, is as wide as infinite space. We will notice all manner of phenomena, from the beautiful to the ugly, from the melodious to the discordant, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the delicious to the disgusting, from the fragrant to the foul. We will notice the full spectrum of emotions and intentions, thoughts and memories and imaginings. It's not the content of that which we notice that makes us enlightened or not. It's what we do. If we are forever caught in the duality of pushing and pulling and trying to control our external and internal experience, then we've missed the boat. Or as Bugs Bunny would say, we've taken a wrong turn in Albuquerque. But as we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our inhalation could feel as non-graspable as a vast, empty void. And that which we notice during our inhalation can be as varied, as infinite as a smorgasbord, infinite in length. The full spectrum of perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. That, if you'll recall, we notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Wide as infinite space reminds us that this is not the trap of rigidity. This is not the trap of over-focus or over-analysis. This is not the fool driving 8 hours in his car to get to a national park, finding a parking space, running straight out of the car into the woods, grabbing a piece of bark from a tree and spending the remainder of his vacation just focusing on that one piece of bark, and as such missing the enormity of the forest and the national park and its glory. Instead of doing that, we cooperate with our autonomic nervous system that some people refer to as our Buddha nature, and our experience is broader and deeper and wider and more transformative. Having completed our opening lesson, we could now shift gears. It is Yoda Monday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. After approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Sunday Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi. Which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. For the remainder of this morning's live stream, let's play with the latest iteration of very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana if you're nasty. Now, the text we taught from this morning and this practice text are each available for free download, and you can find the download page simply by checking out the links in the description area below the live stream. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. For I tend to check for questions approximately every 13 minutes or so. Remember, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions about every 13 minutes or so. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10.5 hours, I would very much like to return to today's evening meditation class as well as group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.